Hello, and welcome to the 8th episode of When the Heart Leads. I'm your host, Dr. Kate Newburgh, and I am so excited to be with you today. The title of this episode is And the Fruit, and that might seem like a little bit of a strange title, so I'll be explaining that in just a moment. But I do want to mention that this podcast episode is going to take a slightly different form, I should say a very different form, from the ones that have come before. What really came through really strong was that it was time to allow all of the powerful teachings that we've been receiving week by week since the podcast launched on that powerful, potent 8/8 portal the past couple months. The message came in to really let all of that land, to really create a space of receiving for all of it deep in the body, receiving integration. So the form that this episode is going to take is, for the most part, after a short teaching, we're going to move into a shamanic journey. So if you listen to the episode on heart creation, you would have experienced a very short snippet of that work. And essentially it's a guided meditation. And it's designed, again, to bypass what we've talked a lot about. It bypasses that linear rational mind, brings you into different brainwave states so that you can fully, in your body, receive the messages, the transmissions, the teaching, so that they can manifest as knowing, as a deep embodied knowing within you. Ultimately, as I talk about the New Eden, this new plane of consciousness, this new way of being that humans are evolving into, it is going to be a way that's deeply connected to the rhythms and the understandings of the body. And so really things are, in a lot of ways, they're theoretical until they come into the body itself. So today is going to be a really powerful time to allow that to happen. So I will guide you through that. I'll guide you into that space and through that space. And then just a quick note, I have been trained in a couple of different lineages, shamanic lineages, and I also have a deep soul connection to these lineages. And if you want to know more about them, you can find more information on my website, which is booksofeden.com. And there I kind of explain the types of lineages I'm a part of, that my soul is a part of, that I've worked with in this lifetime, and where some of these types of guided meditations, these shamanic journeys, come from, what their antecedents are. So just a quick side note, if you're interested in that, you don't need to know all of that for it to be powerful and effective, though, but some people just like to know. So let's come into the title of this episode today. So, and the fruit. So I'm recording this the day after the equinox. So moving into that space of longer nights, of settling, that this is a transitional space into winter. So we have these weeks of moving into kind of a new rhythm. And a lot of it is a gathering. It feels like a settling, feels like coming into more of an inner stillness, those inner spaces. And it's also a time of harvest. And we've talked a lot about the harvest. And last week we talked about redemption and the way that it's related to original sin, and how we can re-examine redemption through the eyes of love and grace, so that we are lifted up and out of all of those, the woundedness that we have associated with it. And in many ways, that's a divine bounty, a harvest of our light, so that we can fully enjoy the light of our soul in this lifetime, in this body. So, and the fruit. What an interesting title. So that comes from the very, very first line of Paradise Lost. And I am going to read that line to us. So by John Milton, clearly someone I've worked a lot with. His work, Paradise Lost, that I've worked a lot with in this, in my kind of examination, my fascination with that moment of the fall, right? That's just kind of, I keep coming back to. And he's very tricky. He does this little thing that if you aren't on the alert for it, you would miss it because you would just blaze straight through. But he does this very tricky thing in his first line of his epic poem. And his first line is, "Of man's first disobedience and the fruit." And then he goes on, "Of that forbidden tree." Of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree. Now, if you just kept reading, you might miss it, but there's this little subtle hint there. The line ends on the word fruit. Of man's first disobedience and the fruit. We're talking right now about the fruitfulness of all of this human experience that we've gone through. We're talking about really holding, feeling, absorbing, receiving the powerful, nourishing fruitfulness of our full human experience. And so, and the fruit, like the fruit of man's disobedience, we're talking about something potent and ripe and tactile and nourishing. And that, in a lot of ways, is going to be what we're receiving today through this guided meditation. And it's funny because I have, normally I have just pages and pages of notes in front of me. And today, for whatever reason, I just have just one line. And the line is flower to fruit. That's the main teaching of today. And what I mean by that is, so what does that mean? We're talking a lot about fruit, right? This time of harvest, this tactile, this nourishing, this body, this potent aspect of the human experience to eat and be nourished. And if we just take an apple, like if we're just going to look at an apple, right? Very powerful symbol, especially in everything that we're talking about. In the spring, the tree bursts forth with these apple blossoms. And these blossoms are delicate and light and fragrant, and we feel them. We feel the essence of them. They're beautiful, and they burst open, and they're this celebration of the spring, right? Of this fecundity, this fertility, this growing, this life. And if you were just going to, if you were the flower, say, and you thought that was your ultimate expression, you would begin to be very upset or even afraid when the petals began to wither and fall, right? But what's happening there is it's preparing for this even larger transformation of moving from this very delicate, ethereal, fragrant, scented thing into a tactile, heavy, nourishing thing. It's this corporeal thing that we can bring into our bodies, that we can eat, we can have with all of our senses, not just kind of that light, fragrant, ethereal sense of the blossom, but this heavy thing that we can eat and taste and bring into our bodies and become in a lot of ways. And so many of us now who are moving through these transitions, who are coming down from the mountain, right? We might in some ways feel like we are losing this sense of self, this light, ethereal sense of self. But what's really happening is that we're moving through a transition so that we can become more embodied on the planet, right? And the really interesting thing about an apple, right, is if you cut the apple in half, if you cut it in half widthwise so that the top and the bottom are separated, you still see the flower. So that came to me as I was speaking. You still see the flower in it. The essence of the flower is still captured in the apple itself. It's there. All of it is there, but it's grown, it's evolved, it's become something you can take into your body and be nourished by. And that's something that's happening with us now. So in some ways, when you look at that transition from blossom to fruit, they look so different. And as we move through that transition in our lives, who we are, who we're becoming, from flower to fruit, from ethereal, delicate to embodied, nourishing, right? This powerful corporeal tactile sense of being in the world. There's some letting go that might need to happen. There even may be some fear that comes up as our form completely changes. And that's what's coming through right now as a really powerful teaching for those of us who are becoming more fully embodied. We're allowing spirit to come within us deep and be embodied through us as us, right? There's this transformation that's taking place. Knowing, just like with the apple, just like with the flower within the apple, knowing that the flower, our essence, our spirit is still deeply at the core of us, is still there in all of its essence. It's still present, but then there's more around it. There's more that's forming around it. There's this powerful sense of being in the world in a body that's forming around that powerful spiritual sense of self. So that is the main teaching for today. And so what we're going to offer with this shamanic journey is the opportunity to really be guided through that transition. And it's fall. We're moving through into fall, through the equinox, into this. It's a very transitional state. If you're like me and you have a vata aspect, and if you're interested in Ayurveda, that's all part of Ayurveda. But really, just what that means is it governs transitions, like these times of transition. So it's very powerful right now. So the shamanic journey is a way for us to ground these experiences in our body so that we feel held, supported, nourished as we move through them. So I will be offering that now. What I'll say is, with the shamanic journey, I really recommend that if you're listening to this and you're a little bit like, wow, is that, I wasn't expecting that. I was going to take a walk and listen to this podcast, right? What I recommend is pausing it until you can get to a place. For the first time listening to it, you may want to listen a number of times. For your first time, I really recommend that you find somewhere quiet, a space that's quiet and where you won't be disturbed, where you can get very comfortable. And some people like to receive it sitting up. Some people like to receive it lying down with maybe a scarf over their eyes. But however you want to receive it, what the name of the game is just that your body feels really held, really comfortable. And then you relax into these different brainwave states so you can really receive the embodied transmission that comes through. And what's going to happen is I'm going to bring you, if you listen to the episode on heart creation and experience that short kind of 10-15 minute experience, we're going to go back into the sacred space of the heart. And in there's going to be an opportunity to let go of an aspect of self. And this aspect of self is not, the energy here is not pushing away. It's not like a rejection. It's a deep honoring of this form that we have been in, maybe the blossom form, right? Something like that more ethereal, some sort of form, right? And it's coming through for me as a blossom, but for you, it'll come through as exactly the form that it needs to, so that you can get a strong sense of what it is that you're letting go of without rejection, without casting away. This is an honoring of that self, of that really beautiful self. And so there'll be an opportunity to let that go. And then an opportunity to receive more in that space that's cleared, more information, more deep knowing about what form you're evolving into. And there will be a light being coming through. This light being is you will experience them for yourselves, but I experience them as a kind of a powerful soul guardian. That's the phrase, a very powerful soul guardian that'll be coming through. And as you'll see within the meditation, that's coming through is kind of a very white gold shimmering being who's going to lead you through that, who's going to meet you in the sacred space of your heart and lead you through all of this. So I will be today using the drum, which is a departure of I normally use my singing bowl, but I wasn't able to get that to resonate well with the microphone. So we did a quick adaptation. And so I will be using the drum today. So that'll be our kind of our guide here. our resonant guide. It's funny, it almost sounded like resident guide, but it's resonant guide. And then as well, something that'll be good. If you've never worked with one of my journeys before, oftentimes there is light language that'll come through, and sometimes heart toning, which is just a form of singing. And so if you hear light language, you don't have to know what it means. It's just, that's a pure transmission of sound. And then if you hear heart toning, it's the same thing. It's just a form of singing that are different ways of kind of reaching, the way I see it is kind of reaching different parts of your being, your body, that maybe need to be reached or touched. So all of this, again, I should say, is also guided by your higher self. So the only things that are allowed to come in and through in these types of journeys are in accordance with your highest good and your highest self. So you just let it wash over you. So I suggest now, if you are listening to this, pause the recording for a moment, take some time to get really comfortable, find a nice, quiet, sacred space that's just yours. And with that, we will move into the journey. We'll begin. Begin to come into your body, feeling your body just as it is in this moment. And together, we are going to take 3 deep breaths. You might have some breaths in between those breaths, and that is just fine. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your out breath, let all of the tension melt from your muscles, your tendons, your fascia. Let all that is constricted loosen and open. Feel as this tension flows out on your breath, leaving your body supple, relaxed, open. Take another nice deep breath in. And on the out breath, let all of your emotions, anything that is heavy, anything that is dense, flow out on your breath. Let it wash from you in waves. Leaving you calm, still, at peace. Take another deep breath in. on this out breath, allow all of your thoughts to slough away, slough from your mind as a tree drops its leaves. Let the cool, crisp breeze of your breath detach the withered thoughts that no longer serve you, that do not belong to this moment. Let them detach and fall like a rain of leaves, leaving your mind bright, open, and relaxed. Take a moment now to rest in this feeling of being held and relaxed and open. We will now enter the sacred space of the heart. We'll do this in the way that was taught by Jesus and the Essenes and Mary Magdalene. See, sense, or feel that a door opens at the back of your heart. Bring your consciousness, your conscious awareness to the back of your heart and let yourself be drawn in. Without thinking, without trying, you are drawn through that portal. You arrive in the sacred space of your heart. This is your inviolable sanctuary, your inner Garden of Eden. And in this space, you receive all it is that you need in the moment. If it is dark, command that the lights be turned on. And behold your sacred heart space. What is it like there? What does it feel like to be there? How does your body respond in this place? Take a moment to explore. What do you see around you? What is it bringing you now? Presently, you become aware of a being of light approaching you. This being is white gold, irradiated in light. Wings outstretched, it walks towards you. In its presence, you feel a deep calm in your body. The feeling that all is well. This is your soul guardian. Perhaps you have met this being before. Perhaps not. Let yourself meet them in this moment. Let them transmit their calming, unconditionally loving energy into you, into your body. Perhaps they have a message for you. Let yourself receive their full presence. No hore no kataya natashta yakukora. No hore rochestando kutundo yatar mukutu india te kaikea. Nortakut standia natakero. Moria notaya. Gambikea notia stang. Haretonaya. Your guide leads you to a river flowing nearby. You stand on the banks and see that the river is made of liquid, golden light flowing. And as you look down, you see a barge, a small boat that is filled with flowers. It is tied to the bank and bobbing on the waves of light. Some flowers you recognize, and some are flowers not of this world, but from your own soul's origin, the place of your first light. made into form. Take a moment to look at this barge filled with flowers. Absorb the scent, the fragrance of the flowers as it rises up, the essence of them filling your body. Behold these flowers. And gently, tenderly, with the support of your soul guardian, lay down on that bed of flowers the aspect of self that is now ready to depart. You feel within you a deep stilling, powerful coming to rest of all the turbulent waters of your being. And in that stillness, you see so very clearly the form of self that wants to be laid to rest. This form of self, so beautiful, has served and is ready now to rest. With so much tenderness, gentleness, let this form lie down onto the bed of flowers. When you are ready, you cut the golden thread that tethers this form, this barge, to the banks. And you watch as the boat detaches and floats down that river of liquid light. It floats down and away off to the left. Watch as it disappears. You let it go. Let it go. Let it go. turn back toward your soul guardian. And your soul guardian leads you up and away from the bank, and then holds aloft an alabaster jar filled with the liquid golden light of the river, that vein of your soul, the living waters of your soul, and lifts up this jar and pours it down over your head, the liquid light flowing in, through, over your body, entering your heart, this liquid light pumped into all of your veins, every part of your body and aura and soul, irradiated with this liquid golden light. Feel it entering you. Feel it clearing all of the density, all of the darkness. Feel it filling all of the spaces that were just cleared in that letting go. Let it in. Let it fill you. Let it become you. The golden light flows as an endless stream from the alabaster jar, as much as you need, as much as you want. Let it come in, open your heart, let it pour in. It is a never-ending stream. Let this liquid light run through all of your veins. Let it wash through your head and your mind, all of your muscles, irradiating you with new horizons, new possibilities, the new dawn of your life. What is it that wants to come in now? What is it that wants to be born through you now? What is it that you are becoming? Let the knowing enter you without thinking, without trying. Allow this knowing to blossom within you, and trust what you receive. How does this knowing feel in your body? Let yourself receive it. are becoming. What are the creations that want to be born through you? Let the knowing of this, the feeling of this rise to the surface. Let it be planted in you, a divine seed, the deepest longings of your heart coming into being. Let those rise up to be seen and heard and spoken. What are the longings of your heart that are crying out to be spoken now? Speak them. Give them life with your breath. As you speak the deepest longings of your heart into being, you breathe life into these creations. The holy, divine creations of your heart, born of your deepest longing. Let those be spoken now. Redonda yakashtan neatora. Ai unakaya tendele stadia noka mortania cora tayar. Hayonare yakatinditi ashtando kakaya mort. Nakatendiator kakandak ayatos tende nador. Hayonora katastaya. Moritoko iana nateke tayo stande hartokaya monaya. Trust the knowings that you receive in this moment of opening, of harvest, of bounty, and deep soul nourishment. Your guide shimmering in white gold light, wings outstretched, has one more gift for you. It may be a message or a deep sense of peace and knowing. It may be an object or a symbol. Without thinking, without trying, allow yourself to receive that gift deep into your heart, this space, this womb space of your heart from which all divine creations arise. Allow yourself to receive this gift as a seed, planted in the fertile, fecund space of your sacred heart. Let it be fully received. Trust that you are receiving it, even if it does not live right now in your conscious awareness. Trust it will be made known to you at just the right time. Receive this gift now. Bring it into you and stay a moment in this stillness. Bring yourself into the encircling arms of your soul guardian. Let yourself be held for a moment, heart to heart, filling up with this knowing that you are loved and held and guided in every moment. That your guardian is always available. Always. And with that, slowly begin to come back into your body in this world. Fill your lungs with conscious breath. Let your awareness land back in this moment, in this body. Trust in what you received and what you didn't receive. Trust that the messages will be forthcoming, that many, many seeds were planted that will begin to surface in your waking consciousness. Before moving back into your day, I suggest you take a moment to journal or make a voice recording of what it is that you received, the knowings, the visions, the feelings. Trust whatever comes through. It's important to record those things because sometimes we are tempted to deny it later in that bright, brash light of our rational thinking mind. So while you're still in that deep embodied space, take some time to write or speak what it is that came to you. Be gentle to yourself this week and very kind as these knowings integrate. Let this peace be full and embodied and exuberant. Let yourself adjust to all the new things that want to come in and through you. Let yourself ripen and receive the absolute soul bounty that is upon us now and ready to come in. If you feel ever that there's powerful shifts happening that you don't understand, sometimes these journeys can touch off very big changes. And if there's ever anything like that happening, you can please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me through my website, booksofeden.com. And if there's things that are happening that you're confused by or you think might be related to this experience, please do reach out. I've been through it. I know the process. So I'm here. Okay. Wow. Well, this has been the 8th episode of When the Heart Leads and the Fruit. I'm your host, Dr. Kate Newburgh. It has been an absolute pleasure to join you all today in this sacred space of the heart. Be kind and gentle to yourself. Trust all that arises. From my heart to yours. Till next time.